Hello, and welcome back to CoinLady channel. I assume you are all aware that XRP's blockchain can process up to 1,500 transactions per second. Because that number has been bandied about for a long time. It's merely something we happen to be aware of, a simple truth of existence. To be fair, Ripple is now boasting that 3,400 transactions per second are possible on the XRP ledger. And if you compare that to what was being proclaimed in 2015, you'll see that the number of transactions processed per second has increased by 4,150%, and the throughput has grown by the same amount. As we get through the video, I'll also address the 2015 conundrum. Honestly, I didn't know that. It's fascinating. Some seemingly unremarkable facts, such as those about everyday life, have always fascinated me. Even though I've been working in this industry for nearly 6 years, I'm not going to act like I know everything. This is an intriguing detail. Oh, I had no idea. In addition, the XRP ledger's amendment procedure suggests that some promising developments are on the horizon for the XRP ledger as well. Also, I plan to discuss it, particularly the callback function. That is really rather fascinating. In short, what we're discussing is the ability to undo transactions on the XRP ledger, which, at first glance, could sound terrifying. I'll go into more detail later in the movie. It's not that terrible, so don't worry about it. But before I go any further, I should clarify that I am not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice. Furthermore, you should not make any financial decisions based on what I say. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. Okay, so here's a headline from the world of basic cryptocurrencies. Ripple doubles the number of XRP transactions that can be processed in a second to 3,400. Ripple's latest update, which purports to increase XRP ledger throughput from 1,500 to a remarkable 3,400 transactions per second, has sparked debate within the XRP community. The increase in XRP ledger throughput was initially brought to light by Kevin Cage, an investment advisor at Iron Key Capital. A message from one of my fellow XRP. Kevin Cage, a YouTuber from the other day. In addition, he provided this screenshot, which I will expand for your viewing pleasure. This is the XRP question he penned. It just lately occurred to me. I have no idea how many transactions per second it has been showing. Why does the XRP blockchain extract on the Ripple site claim 3,400 transactions per second instead of the more realistic 1,500? Thanks. Check out the new global economy in action on Ripple's actual website. In addition, we'll be scrolling down. And right here is where it originated. Now, I also wanted to mention something else, since I brought attention to a post by Kevin Cage on Network X. I could probably track down the original post from 3 or 4 weeks ago, though I don't recall the precise date. He showed off a screenshot, but the 3,400 transactions per second weren't marked in yellow. One of my videos featured a quote from him, so you can find it on my channel someplace. And I was trying to make a more general point with his remarks. It wasn't so much his remark that caught my attention as the screen grab. And I know I was arguing a point there, but I have blanked on it. However, I do recall that the screenshot was included. And the reason I remember it so well is because, first, the format is similar and, second, I really read it. Furthermore, under this subsection, which is scalable, it stated that 3,400 transactions may be processed per second. And there was no mention on the screen grab itself or in his post indicating he obtained it from Ripple, so I had no idea where he got it. And it really wasn't a huge deal at all. After a moment, I realized it was merely extolling XRP's virtues. And I thought, well, whomever put this together must have missed something obvious, because the number of transactions per second is only 1,500 and not 3,400 as the article claims. So, I decided to write it off as an oversight. It appeared on the screen on my channel, but I didn't bring it up in the video since I figured it was simply a mistake. However, I didn't attribute it to Ripple at the time. I would have commented on this earlier had I realized the source was Ripple. So, it appears that Kevin Cage did, in fact, notice that at first. He only recently contracted it, so people in the area have been talking about it more. And this appears to be something that was known all along. Two things, though. First of all, let me say that I disagree with Ripple's, since I don't believe it to be real just now, for reasons I'll get to in a second. Additionally, I found it fascinating that this seems to be taken as a given among the developer community. Regarding Throughput, my understanding is as follows: I am not a developer and hence do not code. When I first got involved with XRP, I had the same question, and I'm sure many of you did, too. When you hear that the Bitcoin community can process 1,500 transactions per second, you think, wow, that's a lot faster than ETH, Stone, and everything else. But is that really sufficient? What about the tens of thousands of transactions you can process using conventional payment methods like Visa and MasterCard? This doesn't hold water because they get such huge amounts of transactions each second, right? I did ask that, and I'm sorry I don't have a more thorough technical response to provide you. In 2017, 2018, whenever it was, I found the answer on what is now known as expert Twitter. I recall that Hamilton was the first person to do so. I'll have to paraphrase what he basically told me. He said, "Not at all," he says, "it's okay. It's true that on layer 1, you can process 1,500 transactions per second. And in theory, if there is truly tremendous worldwide uptake, you could run into it." He basically suggested that financial dealings can be batch processed. To be considered a transaction, a series of independent actions must first be grouped together into a single batch. As a result, you may successfully scale to infinity and beyond. That's the point he was trying to make, then. I then repeated back to him what I thought he had just said, and he confirmed that my interpretation was true. Yes, I do believe it to be true. Since I'm not a developer and have no interest in becoming one, I've given you the simplest possible explanation of my answer. Not my cup of tea, if you will. Those dudes are my heroes. And I couldn't be happier that they're the tough guys. However, that only accounts for a fraction of our local population. But I have to consult them often to get the answers I need. Therefore, I am as stupid as the next person when it comes to a minute and stuff, anything technological, unless I consult a developer. For the life of me, I can't figure out what this means. Do you know how to translate your jargon? For the simple reason that I can't tell from this text alone. Meaning-wise, sure, some things are more evident than others. This is the engineering section of the Ripple website, by the way. Right here is the pertinent section. Dated July 7, 2023. The 3400 number was therefore available back then, even from Ripple. However, it was not widely disseminated, and so, no one noticed it. Like I indicated, I saw 3,400 transactions per second a few weeks ago. I thought, surely there must be some errors. Not even a word came out of my mouth. I was curious as to how many other people shared my sentiment. But anyhow, according to the Ripple's website, they are increasing the throughput of the XRP ledger. The success of transaction processing networks like the XRP ledger depends on ever-increasing utilization, making throughput the most crucial non-functional feature. For this reason, the XRP ledger storage capabilities must evolve over time. In this piece, we'll talk about how analysis plays a part in making XRP's ledger faster and more efficient. In 2015, Ripple was the first company to employ this method, and early tests showed that the technology could handle roughly 80 XRP payment transactions per second. I had never seen that number at XRP payment transactions per second in 2015, and that's what I was referencing at the beginning of the movie. It's a rise of almost 4,000%, 4,150% to be exact, when compared to the 3,400 figure. More than 3,400 transactions per second were achieved during recent testing for an upcoming release, as well as some of the closer they created, which they quote. This represents an increase of over 4,000%, the vast majority of which can be attributed to this method. As an aside, you might be wondering why we should wait to implement infinite scalability for XRP ledger transactions if it is possible. The reality is that increasing throughput by even 1,500 transactions per second is not urgent. The XRP ledger is, like, light years ahead of so much of the competitors specifically in that area in terms of its capabilities. And to think that it was written in 2012 code. In terms of timing, I consider the launch to have occurred at the start of 2013 proper. I keep forgetting that it officially went public in late 2012 or early 2013. In any case, the point is that it was so far ahead of the pack that even now, a decade later, we haven't come close to catching up to it. I just think it's really neat stuff, that's all. Also, this here is related to the same subject. There are other factors at play. The latest iteration of XRP was unveiled, and here's the headline from the world of basic cryptocurrencies, Ripple X. A 1.12.0 RIP in the ledger. The newest version of the XRP ledger, Rippled 1.12.0, has been officially released by the Ripple X, the XRP-L developer community platform. XLS30 and XLS39 are two new functionalities that have been integrated into the XRP ledger as part of this upgrade. Ripple X has begun a vote process to implement these modifications. Now, I know I've mentioned XLS30 quite a few times on this channel, but until recently, I wasn't familiar of XLS39. So, I can't say for sure if that's something only the programmers in our community knew about. Until now, though, I had not seen it being discussed on social media or mentioned in any news pieces. And it does have some promising appeal. And now we reach the section about reversed deals. So, have a look at this. Both will be discussed in this article. The XRP ledger now has a built-in automatic market maker thanks to the introduction of XLS30, the first functionality. Users can now trade assets in automated pools thanks to this innovation's compatibility with the pre-existing XRP ledger decentralized exchange. One of the most anticipated updates to the XRP ledger is the automated market maker, or AM for short. Notably, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, has said that this is the feature he is most looking forward to. Estimates of how much MFM and XLS39's second feature could make for site earnings have been released. Introduces the clawback amendment, which will let issuers to participate in asset retrieval on a voluntary basis. With the exception of XRP, issuers can only reclaim assets that originated in their own wallets. So, for the record, XRP can never be reclaimed. Definitely not. To put your mind at ease, we covered everything that can be tokenized on the XRP ledger, and turning tokenization on is disabled by default. This function is thus optional. That's what it was, and it's not a negative thing at all. And I swore to God that I would burn biscuits and steamed veggies if one of those Bitcoin maxi trolls came out talking about transactions being caught back on the XRP ledger. It's the simultaneous nature of all three of them that really gets under my skin. That can't stand. However, I do recall the events of the past half-decade. Some of the most trusted names in the crypto space were spreading false information about whether or not XRP can be frozen, and it's amazing how far and wide this rumor spread. These people may have been acting in good faith as members of the Bitcoin community. Not one of those things was correct. The XRP ledger does not include a freeze function, as one might expect. Any frozen XRP is no longer accessible. Thus, on a digital currency trading platform, and such events did occur. And so the Bitcoin maxis would basically reflect reality in a way that was meant to mislead, saying something when it wasn't. Okay, here's what happened when an exchange claimed users could freeze their XRP balances. Keep in mind that Roger Ver was duped by this very strategy until David Schwartz set him straight. Afterwards, Roger Ver publicly admitted that he was mistaken. And for setting the record straight, he thanked David Schwartz. Obviously, this isn't the case with XRP, but if your cryptocurrency is stored in a wallet to which you don't have the private key, then yes, they can certainly deny you access to that wallet and do whatever the heck they want with your money. No, man, I don't want your crypto or keys. It's not a feature exclusive to XRP. However, there are Bitcoin maxis in the world who will have you believe otherwise. To sum up, it's safe to say that the XRP ledger updates are getting more and more exciting as time goes on. What makes it so great is that it serves a practical purpose. My favorite thing about being an XRP is this. We, holder, would have to argue over block size rather than the contentious issues that have arisen with many other cryptocurrencies. There is a built-in amendment process in the XRP ledger in case there is something you'd like to change. Forks need not be permanent fixtures. Because of this, the XRP ledger has only ever seen a small number of forks. I've heard that the population of those favored forks has completely collapsed. I've formerly discussed on the channel are no longer accessible. Not that I can think of, no. Whatever the case may be, a conclusion is eagerly awaited. Nothing I say or write should be taken as investment advice, and you should not make any decisions based on it. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.